Hi there, welcome to Jackie Talks Horror. I'm Jackie, and today I'm going to be continuing my Final Destination franchise review with the film that made drivers fear log trucks just as much as the original made people fear flying, Final Destination 2. Now I find this one more fun, less scary than the original one, and is a very entertaining watch. It just hits differently when watching. And I think this is a great follow-up, and the films make a great double bill. Now I am going to try and keep this spoiler free, but I am going to be using the trailer and images and the plot from IMDb. So if you haven't seen the film, there may be spoilers ahead. So let's dive into the characters. There are a couple of characters from the original film in here, as well as some new. As usual, there are a lot of characters in here, but I'm going to go through the ones that I consider to be the main ones. First, there's Kimberly Coleman, played by AJ Cook. Kimberly has this installment's premonition. Initially scared and uncertain, she becomes determined to outsmart death's design, growing from a frightened survivor to an active fighter. Next is Thomas Burke, played by Michael Landis. He's a policeman caught up in the events around the premonition. He initially doubts Kimberly's warning, but quickly becomes a key ally. And as a policeman, he has a few resources he can call on to help whilst he works with her to piece together the mystery and help to keep the survivors alive. Next is Rory, played by Jonathan Cherry. He's one of the survivors Kimberly saves by stalling the traffic. He's a bit of a stoner, but he's got that likeable laid-back vibe typical of comic relief in horror films. Most of the film's more humorous moments involve him. Then there's Kat, played by Keegan Connor Tracy. Kat is another one of the survivors. She initially doubts Kimberly's warnings, but once convinced, becomes a loyal ally. Her character adds emotional support and strength to Kimberly's journey, offering a grounded perspective in the middle of all the chaos. So now we come to the returning characters. First, Clear Rivers is back, played by Ali Larter. The only survivor of Flight 180, she is still haunted by the trauma from the first film. Ali Larter brings new depth to the character, showing her growth and adding emotional weight. Clear serves as a crucial link between the first and second films, carrying the psychological scars of her past whilst navigating the new dangers. But Clear isn't the only character back from the original film. Mr. Bloodworth the Mortician is back, played by the late great Tony Todd. Tony Todd is in his element and really getting the hang of this character here. Being creepier and more cryptic than in the first film, I loved the character in that, but did think he was more of a plot dump guy then. In this, he also added some extra lore on Death's design, and I enjoyed his appearance. None of the above performances failed to deliver, and this set of characters are fun and interesting. Okay, so now we come to the plot. The IMDb plot synopsis is short and to the point and reads, Death is stalking Kimberly Coleman and the multiple survivors of a deadly highway accident. Much like the first film, the sequel follows a similar structure. A character has a premonition that sets the stage for a race against death design, and as in the first film, each death reinforces how relentless and unescapable death truly is. Okay, so now we come to the pacing. Coming in at a tight 1 hour 30 minutes, the film takes its time in the beginning to introduce us and get us used to the new characters. They are pretty well fleshed out, and you spend a bit of time with them at the beginning before the premonition so you get to know them. After the premonition, the pace picks up quickly, and the tension never lets up till the end. The film strikes a strong balance between character development and building suspense, keeping me hooked throughout. And now a quick note on the direction and production. Final Destination 2 is directed by David R. Ellis, who also directed Snakes on a Plane and Matrix Reloaded, and is produced and co-written by Jeffrey Riddick, the writer of the original film and the creator of the franchise. I think it is always a good sign for a sequel when you get some of the creative team from the first one back. They took the concept from the first film and made the elaborate deaths even more over the top, with the kills being more creative and drawn out with more fake-outs, but with the same relentless dread throughout. I love the fact that the story is more important than the characters. Death itself is the main character in this. I know Kimberly is meant to be the lead, but this seems more of an ensemble movie than the first, when Alex and Claire were the more obvious leads. The premonition is amazing and one of the best of the franchise, still holds up over 20 years later, with only a little bit of CGI, but it's not too noticeable. However, some of the CGI later in the movie is definitely more noticeable and dated. And as always, there are a lot of clues showing up throughout, showing us what's in store for each of the people that survived, with some really creative camera work and a song signaling death is on the prowl, although sometimes that song may be softened in the background. So now I'm going to give my ratings. For cinematography and soundtrack, this film gets 4.5 out of 5. I love the soundtrack, which, like in the first film, did a great job of heightening our awareness of death's presence. The reoccurring death song was a fantastic touch, adding to the suspense. The cinematography was also strong, with some great visual flourishes and great camera shots that effectively conveyed the looming threat of death stalking the survivors. For special effects and gore, this film gets 5 out of 5. The special effects and the premonition were great, but some of them after that were not too good. But Death's twisted kills were on point and didn't disappoint, and the kills are what we're here for, so it still gets top marks. For the characters, well, the best performances come from Ali Larter as Clea, AJ Cook as Kimberly, in the main, and Tony Todd as Bloodworth. Other than them three, the acting is just so-so. For enjoyment and rewatch value, this film gets 5 out of 5. It's very rewatchable, even if just for the opening premonition, but you come for the premonition and stay for the kills. It keeps you entertained and enthralled, and this is one fun ride of a movie. For a personal score then, this film gets 4.5 out of 5. I love this film as I feel it just goes bigger, and has more elaborate kills that keep you guessing which one of the shown dangers will actually kill the poor victim. It also has a bit more dark humour in this one than the first as well, which I absolutely love. Okay, so that's all for this review. Final Destination 2 leans more into fun than fear, but that doesn't make it any less enjoyable. Just a different type of watch. If you love the first film's tension and unpredictability, this one delivers even bigger and crazier death sequences. Have you seen Final Destination or Final Destination 2? How do you think they compare? Do leave your comments down below, but remember to be respectful, and remember this is only my opinion of this film. It would be a boring world if we all like the same things. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more horror content. You won't want to miss what's coming next on this channel. This is Jackie signing off. Take care and see you next time.